What up, SBN Live? It's your boy Josh Wallace here. I brought you to my kitchen today because today we're talking about athletes. What goes in them, what's their restrictions, and what they can't do. Even more specifically, we're going to talk about the laws and guidelines that protect them against these foods, and the governing bodies that also have something to do with it. Check this out. Hey, I brought you guys over here to watch me flip some of my famous turkey bacon. This turkey bacon is right out of Philly. But back to protocol. Many of you may have heard about Marion Jones and her whole doping thing. Even Barry Bonds. More recently, the Tour de France guy himself. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to need to drop a name. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. Why these things happen, why they don't happen, and what's essential. Just this food I'm cooking here, the eggs, even the bacon to an extent, has to be carefully monitored to make sure athletes don't contain anything that's banned or illegal to their respective sport. I want to show you some of the medicines that are banned and illegal in just a second. Okay, according to SBM law textbook, there are main legal areas governing drug testing of athletes, which are constitutional law and labor law. The laws govern any particular complaint depending on the individual. Let's go a little bit into understanding exactly what constitutional law is and how it affects this drug testing. The first question to ask whenever constitutional law issues is whether there's a state of action. That controls so much. State action, public high schools and colleges are state actors, and students attending the institutions benefit from the protections afforded under the Constitution. Private entities such attending these universities and places, NCAA and professional sports teams on the other hand, are not subjected to these constitutional challenges. And for furthermore, you have the Fourth Amendment and things like that. The postal learning expansion is also involved in this whole drug testing thing. So let's get a little bit deeper. How exactly does due process affect some of these things that you see here, and how athletes consume them? Let's go. So how do you bring due process into this? It's different for multiple athletes, but two things that require is that there's property interest and liberty. All those things must be at risk. So for instance, let's say throw an athlete out there, like a Michael Jordan. He was caught, after a test, he had these type of things in his body, and it's no good. He can, in essence, appeal it because of his due rights, especially, let's say, even if he was a college athlete or high school athlete, due to him being part of the state. He appeals it. He could say he did things like, this was just a supplement to help him lose a little bit of weight, a nutritional supplement to maybe help with, his low counts in iron or calcium or something of that nature. If they found out indeed that his property of interest or even his liberty was at stake in all of this, when he was notified that he would be being accused of allegations of taking doping or any form of medicine that's going to enhance his game, then indeed Michael would win the case. Another legal area governing drug testing is labor law. In professional sports, the conduct of the player is governed by a contract that is negotiated by the league, representing the owners, and the Players Association representing the players. The contract of collective bargaining agreement addresses the conditions of the athlete's employment. Because drug testing programs affect an athlete's condition of employment, it is a mandatory subject of bargaining and must be a part of the CBA. The first professional sports league to subject its players to drug tests was the National Basketball Players. The program, which only covered street drugs, was adopted in 1983. The NBA added steroids to the list of banned substances in 1999. The first league to test players for steroid use was the NFL in 1987. Hold on. The penalties under the current Major League Baseball drug testing policy for a player who tests positive for performance-enhancing substances are a 50-game suspension for the first offense, 100 games for the second offense, and a permanent suspension for the major or minor leagues for a third. As of 2012, the best known players who are penalized under the program is Manny Ramirez, a 12-time All-Star who's suspended for 100 games. In addition, MLB's drug policy requires drug suspension to be unpaid.